In this video, I want to take you guys through a very interesting tweet from the guys over at Insomniac that has sparked more rumors about the possibility about Resistance making a comeback, more likely than not in the form of a remaster collection. We'll take a look at that as some things have happened recently with Insomniac's acquisition by Sony, leading to the possibility of Resistance making a comeback, so we'll highlight that. Also, I do want to let you guys know that this is the last chance to get a lot of freebies on the PlayStation Store. Not only the PlayStation games that they were giving out as a part of the stay-at-home initiative, but also the PS Plus freebies. We'll take a look at that very quickly. You should definitely take advantage of that. Doubly so with the stay-at-home initiative games, because those are games that you just get to own forever. They don't have any Plus logo attached to them, and you don't have to stay with your PlayStation Plus subscription to keep those games, so we'll highlight that. And also, we have an update on Assassin's Creed Valhalla's gameplay, and it possibly remedying one of my major issues with the previous Assassin's Creed games in Origins and Odyssey. We'll take a look at that at the end of this video. But first of all, as noted by WCCF Tech, at least that's what might be discerned from Insomniac's most recent tweet in regards to a Resistance remaster, which includes a screenshot from 2008's Resistance 2 for the PlayStation 3. The accompanying text reads, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" And that's all the tweet suggested, but man, you put a tweet out like that, Insomniac knows what they're doing. They know people are gonna start talking. They know Resistance has been absent for a very long time, 9 years and counting. And a lot of the PlayStation audience wants to see Resistance make a comeback. I know I personally do. It's a game that I am very, very nostalgic with, and I can't tell you guys how many hours I put into Resistance 2's chaotic 64-player multiplayer mode. The campaigns were pretty good, and I think there's a lot of potential in refamiliarizing people with Resistance. And can you imagine those games running at 60 frames per second, 4K on the PS5? That would be fantastic. And is Insomniac working on a remaster of the Resistance series or an entirely new installment in the series? We don't know at this point, and we could merely be looking at a random tweet from the studio. However, Insomniac has recently been tweeting about the series, and last week, the studio asked fans about the multiplayer mode in Resistance 3. So I don't know, why would you be asking questions like that unless you're prepping up something, or at least if you're looking at the potential interest in something like this actually happening. Now, the thing is, over the past few years, fans have continually asked Insomniac about possible remasters. It just makes a lot of sense. Resistance is one of those franchises that has gone to the wayside, and I know there are a lot of franchises that Sony has under their belt that could do with remasters and re-releases, whether it be Infamous 1 and 2, whether it be Killzone 2 and 3. God, I would kill for a Killzone 2 and 3 remaster and upgrade on that. Killzone Shadowfall just did not satiate my Killzone appetite, but Resistance is one of those that I think there is a big need for this, because Insomniac themselves noted Sony owns the Resistance IP. They said that back in 2015, and that would be up to them. That was in response to bringing the franchise back, and of course, now Insomniac has been acquired by Sony, so they're working hand in hand on getting these games out. Look, everybody knows Insomniac right now. The game they're probably the busiest with is Marvel Spider-Man 2. There's been rumblings about them doing another Ratchet title, but Resistance as a remastered collection, how much of an undertaking is that? Like, I don't think you need to get a lot of people working together to make a Resistance trilogy happen on the PlayStation 5. Yes, maybe you can outsource it to a smaller studio. Hey, Bluepoint Games is always there. We know they're cooking up a lot of great remasters. Saber Interactive is doing a lot of great stuff with porting, and I'm sure there are other studios that are up for the task. And Resistance is one of those franchises that, if you guys don't know, Resistance 1 was awesome. That was the game that really sold people on the PlayStation 3. Without Resistance 1, the PlayStation 3's launch lineup would have been a disaster. You're talking about picking up Genji Days of the Blade at launch, and I'm sorry, Giant Enemy Crabs were only going to take me so far. Resistance 2, even better. I think that game sold really, really well based on the fact that they were promoting the 64-player multiplayer component, and they absolutely delivered on that. That game was a chaotic mess, but absolutely in the best way possible when you get into those hectic 64-player battles. The campaign was really good, as was it in Resistance 1. And then, in my opinion, the best game in the series was Resistance 3, but it was also the one that did commercially the worst. Now, Resistance 3 actually dialed back the multiplayer, I believe, back to 32 players. However, it also featured the best campaign in the series, bar none. Resistance 3 had an awesome campaign, and its multiplayer might have actually been 24 players. I don't remember off the top of my head. I still remember really enjoying the multiplayer component, so it's not like that was an issue, but commercially that game just did not do that well. And this is how big of a Resistance fan I am. I even played Resistance Retribution on the PSP, and I shouldn't make that seem like a degrading thing to Resistance Retribution, because Resistance Retribution was freaking awesome, and if they do a Resistance collection, please give me Resistance Retribution as well. That one was done by Sony Bend Studio, a third-person shooter, and that game was really really, really good. In my opinion, one of the best games on the PSP, and that says a lot because the PSP had a lot of high-quality titles. Nevertheless, if we can get the first 3 Resistance games, at least give gamers a chance to play those games again, because Resistance is one of those franchises that's really forgotten about. People still talk about Killzone. People still talk about a lot of these other IP that, you know, we haven't seen a game release of them from a while. Infamous is still talked about more so than Resistance in my eyes, but Resistance is one franchise that I would love to see make a comeback in some form. If you don't want to do a new game right now, I can understand Insomniac is really busy with Spider-Man 2, at least I imagine they are, and to do a new Resistance game on top of that would probably be a significant undertaking. However, I think it's really good that studios do not focus on one franchise for an extended period of time. Sony Santa Monica with God of War is one exception that I will accept, but I think it's good for somebody like a Sucker Punch to be juggling things like Infamous and then doing Ghost of Tsushima. Shake it up every now and again, and I think it would be good if Insomniac didn't only do Spider-Man. I think it would be good if they did splinter their releases and do Spider-Man, then do a Ratchet, then do Spider-Man 2, then do a Resistance. I don't know how feasible that is, but it is something that I think keeps developers fresh. I think it keeps them engaged. And we just saw what happened with Yakuza as well, with Yakuza 7. That was a game that after doing 6 traditional Yakuza games, they were like, okay, we need to do something different to grow as a studio. And I think if they do keep churning out the same game over and over again, I mean, it's definitely possible. We've seen studios do that before. 343 just puts out Halo game after Halo game. You've got Coalition putting out a lot of Gears titles, but I think for the best, and a Coalition just put out Gears Tactics, which was a little bit different. But you get the idea. I think it is really good for these top-tier studios to be working on different styles of games. That's why I respected Guerrilla so much, where they had an established IP in Killzone, but they decided to do something entirely different with Horizon. I think that's something that should be a little bit more of a regularity in gaming. I understand there's a need to put out the games that sell really, really well. And from a financial standpoint, maybe it doesn't make all the sense in the world, but hey, Guerrilla ended up selling, what, 10 million copies with Horizon Zero Dawn, so it can absolutely work. Alright, moving on from that, rambled quite a bit about Resistance. Do want to note that it is your last chance to get the PlayStation Plus games for the month of May. That includes Uncharted 4 and Dirt Rally 2.0. Obviously, those are the PS Plus games, and today is the last day where you can get the stay-at-home initiative titles. That includes Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, as well as Journey. Now, a lot of you guys might be of the mindset, oh, I got these games as Plus freebies, why would I add them to my library again? Do add them to your library again, because this will eliminate the need of having PlayStation Plus to access these games. These games are yours to own forever, and there's no caveat to it. Even if you own the physical copies, I don't know, something might happen to your physical copy of Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, you might as well add it to your library. You'll have it there forever. It makes too much sense not to do it. And then, of course, this Wednesday, the PlayStation Plus games for the month of May will go live, and they are not everyone's cup of tea, with City Skylines as well as Farming Simulator 19, but let's not get into that tangent again. For now, add those games to your library. And lastly, I do want to highlight a very interesting interview conducted with creative director Ashraf Ismail about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and also the gameplay elements regarding the grind it takes to complete Valhalla and play through that game. Noting to Press Start Australia, Ismail said this: "Our goal is to just let players play the content they want. Again, we built a really intriguing world that takes place in Dark Ages England and Norway. By the way, when you leave Norway to England, you can always go back to Norway, so we built these really beautiful, breathtaking living worlds, and we want players to play the content as they wish to play it. That's the way the game is being balanced. So people want to focus on the narrative, there's no issue there. People want to focus on their settlement, again, no issue there. It's really up to the players to decide how they want to consume the content. That's always been our angle, and again, this we're showcasing Aver's personal journey. We're really focused on that, so if people want to focus on that personal journey and the relationships that come out of that, they can do that." I don't know about that being their angle this whole time, because I'm sorry, I play AC Origins and I played AC Odyssey. You cannot tell me that there wasn't an inherent level of grind attached to that game. There's a reason there's a double XP thing available in the microtransaction store, and some people get so defensive over it because a lot of you guys played that game and you played it extensively, and yeah, you were able to beat the game no problem. I'm just saying that if you rush through the game, and you should be able to rush through a game if you want to do it, you shouldn't have to do every little bit of content that's in the game. Yeah, you don't have to do every little bit of content. That's a little bit hyperbolic by my end, but you get the idea. You do have to do a decent bit of the side content if you want to progress through Odyssey, and that's not necessarily something everybody wants to do. So if they offer us a way to just focus on the narrative, that's something that'll enhance the game quite a bit for me, but that is from a personal standpoint. Other people are just going to want to do all the content a game has to offer, and rightfully so. I mean, if you're dropping $60 on a game, you'll want to take full advantage of it, but for me, at least give me that option to play the game the way I want to play it. Alright, that's going to conclude this video. Again, what would you think about a potential Resistance remaster? I know it's something that I would be all over. Do take advantage of the freebies that are available. Uncharted the Nathan Drake Collection, Journey, the PS Plus April titles, add them all to your library, but doubly so for Uncharted the Nathan Drake Collection and Journey. And by the way, if you do make a German PSN account, you can also get Knack 2, and you can add that to your library as well. I don't know how many of you guys are interested in Knack 2, the game of the year in 2018, but nonetheless, I thought I would mention that as well. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla seemingly will drop a little bit of the grindy elements from AC Origins and AC Odyssey. Let's see how that shakes out. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.